Well, howdy do, buckaroos. This is Tom the Beer Whisperer. Every once in a while, folks will say something about me doing the same beers or the same whiskeys over and over again, as it's overkill. I don't mean it to be overkill, but sometimes I get a thought in my head, and this is one of those. I've done a video for the Caskmates, Jameson Caskmates, and the Lord Lieutenant Kinahan's blended Irish, but I had an idea that I wanted to do them both side by side, because not that I'm expecting them to taste the same, because you could tell by the colors of each. This is the Lord Lieutenant's, this is the Jameson, that I'm going to get two different things going on. Much darker on the Jameson Caskmates, I'm guessing could be some of those stout notes, but the reason is they are both of almost identical price points, and price point is important to me. It isn't to a lot of beer geeks and whiskey snobs, but it is to me. So I want to look at differences in price points. So this is the Lord Lieutenant Kinahan's. It's a blended Irish that uses a blend of anywhere from 6 to 10-year-old Irish whiskeys. To put that in perspective, hold on a second while I scratch my nose. Sorry about that. The Jameson, standard Jameson and standard Bushmills are typically 4-year-old whiskeys. Now this Jameson, however, is also aged in stout casks, and that's what makes it different. But let me get some aromas here on both of them. The aromas are very nice and light on the Lord Lieutenant Kinahan's, and I said this in my video for that whiskey, that it reminds me a lot of the Napo Castle 12-year-old, which makes me want to buy a bottle of the Napo Castle, because it runs about $3 more per bottle. So it makes me want to wonder if this is worth the $37, if I can buy a 12-year-old single for $41. And I think it's going to depend on what flavors you're looking for. The aromas are very light. They're nice. You do get some of that grain, and I'm also getting some fruit aromas out of this. I mentioned in my video apple and pear specifically. Now the aromas are much deeper on the Jameson Caskmates. Because although I get the aromas that regular Jameson has to offer, I'm also getting some of those stout notes. You get some almost fudge-like aromas that are coming from that stout mixed with that whiskey, along with some sweet honey and very pronounced vanilla notes. So let's take a drink. I'm going to start with the Kinahan's because it's a lighter whiskey. And I poured a shot of both neat with no water added. It's a nice, it really is a nice blended whiskey. It's beyond gorgeous. It is very smooth. It is very likable and drinkable. And it's almost the epitome of Irish, right? Scotch is very distinctive. You either have a taste for it or don't, for the most part. Same way you could say the same for bourbon. Bourbon is very bold. It's brash. It's in your face. Even some of the best, small batch versions of. I mean, that's the nature of a bourbon, to be big and bold. But Irish whiskey is very smooth. They're enjoyable. And I might have to go buy me the next time I can afford it to buy a bottle of the Napo 12, because it really reminds me of it, both in appearance and in flavor. You do get some light oak. I get a hint of vanilla, not in a big way though. I do get some of those light fruit flavors. Again, pear, apple. This one's a bigger animal, and I like it because, well, I'm a bourbon and Irish whiskey drinker, but the bourbon lover in me likes it because it's a little bolder than your typical Irish whiskey because of those stout cask notes that have added to it. Good gravy, that's good. You do feel some oak, you feel some vanilla, you do get some of those stout notes in there. I mean, light hints of chocolate. I mentioned fudge earlier, and toffee. It's nice. And here's the thing: they both ran about 37 and change a bottle. They're almost identical price points. So here's the question: if I had only enough to cover the cost of the whiskey and tax, which one of these would I choose? And there isn't a good answer to that because I like both of them equally, but for different reasons. So the answer, and I know this is going to sound like a political answer even though I don't mean it to be, is that it would depend on what I'm in the mood for at the time. Now here's the truth: if we're deeper into the fall, if it's colder, if we're even into wintertime, I'm going to buy this because it's bolder, it's more comforting. If I've got a day like today where it's low 60s, but it's not really cold, or if I've got an early spring or even summer day, I'm going to go with the Kinahans because it just feels light, it's smooth, it's just easy to drink. The other question is, are both worth the $38 price tag? I mean, I just mentioned I didn't mention this part. I could get the Bushmills 10 for about the same price as these two. So I need to do a comparison with that as well. I mentioned I can get the Napoleon 12 for about $3 more. So why would I buy a blended when I can buy the single malt? So here's the answer to that. It depends on what flavors you're looking for. In my opinion, both of these whiskeys are worth the price tag they're offering because they're different, right? This Jameson, with the addition of the stout cask, is enough different from the original Jameson and enough different from the Jameson Black Reserve that's about the same price point. It's enough different from any comparative single malt for me to want to buy this again. The Lord Lieutenants, why would I buy that again? Because I mentioned it's very similar to the Napoleon. Well, it's still $3 cheaper. It is similar to the Napoleon, so it makes me really want to buy that to try it. But I will buy it again because there are some unique flavors about it, and because it really is enjoyable. So for you all out there that are, for some bizarre reason, using me as a yardstick to buy your whiskey, which you should always trust your own palate and not anybody's reviews, no matter how respected you think they are. Use your own palate and your own judgment. But in my opinion, both of these are worth trying at least once, and both are worth the price tag they're offering. This is Tom the Beer Whisperer, whispering some whiskey today. I'll talk to you later.